So, yes, hello, I'm Tanya from LeadersFluent, and I'm the host for today's career series, and a very special guest here with us today. And I'll let him introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hamza, and I am the founder and president of Tuscan, which is a marketing, HR, branding, and design company based in Vancouver, Canada. I'll let you ask the questions that you have.
For sure, thank you. So, the first question we have is what did the academic and non academic pathway look like leading up to a career in consulting?
So, for example, let's take my situation here. I'm a young person just like you and many of you that are probably watching. I am, a 20-year-old. And so you could ask me, what is your academic background? And really, it's just me taking what I have at this moment. So I decided to open my own company, wanted to gain experience. So if someone is asking me what you need, to be a consultant, you need your experience with a mixture of what you're learning. So, I'm currently in a bachelor's program myself, and I'm studying business and psychology. And I'm able to take methods, theories, and strategies from what I've learned and apply that to my business. So when we have a client that comes in for marketing, we're able to give them a strategy. We're able to plan out exactly what they need in order to get the results that they're looking for. So when it comes to consulting, you need a mixture of school and you need a mixture of your experience, because if you don't have experience, you're not going to be able to consult anyone to give them exactly what they're looking for. So the biggest thing is experience. If you have school, a bachelor's degree in business, if you are looking to do something like marketing, branding, HR. So it's really important that you get your experience, but also have a bachelor's degree in business. But at the same time, consulting can be, a field that you can go into in many directions. You could be a health consultant. You could, get a certificate in dietitian, like a dietitian consultant, right? And so there's many different options you can go into, but it really just comes down to experience. So
I feel like,
get as much as you can.
yes, definitely, because even teachers at school, they always say experience at times matters more than what the knowledge the person may have, because experience makes the person stand out among other, for example, applicants for a job or
Mm-hmm.
position. So
If
the
you
next,
actually look at today's world, actually, it's great to have a bachelor's degree. It's great to have a master's degree. But the biggest thing you need is experience. If you're not just looking into consulting, like if you are an individual looking to get a job, like your dream job, it's so important that you start getting experience as early as you can, whether that's you, foreshadowing someone in the line of work that you want to be in. So it's really important to, get a start, because once you get a start, you're going to keep progressing in that field, and you're going to get to where you want to be. So experience is a huge thing.
definitely, thank you for that. The second question we have is, what is important to consider in high school when considering a career in consulting, if any different for university?
In terms of what you need to do in high school, I think it's really important to try everything out. High school, the nice thing is a lot of the courses you have to take, they're kind of required for you. But, it's really important that you get an idea in every subject. I know that, when you get into grade 11 and 12, you kind of have options of whether you want to take chem or bio or physics. You could take one or two of them instead of taking all three. Just like that, it's really important to get a basic understanding of each subject. So my biggest recommendation would be to really focus in English, because it helps your communication skills. It would be a good asset to be also good at your math, because math and English are two of those courses that I would say are mostly used in this line of work, because a lot of calculations, a lot of strategy is also used, but also your communication. You want to make sure that you're able to greet and communicate with your client as best as you can. So those are two courses that I would really say are heavily involved in consulting.
Thank you for that. Yes, I do agree with that as well. And the next question we have is, what is the work-life balance of consulting? Example, do you have to be available on call? Is it a 9 to 5?
So, like I mentioned, my business is kind of a variety of different, aspects of business. So we have marketing, branding, HR, design. So the nice thing about consulting is you're able to book appointments on your own pace. So, you book a time, you don't have to be available all the time. You have your appointments booked, and you'll get on those phone calls when you need to, or you might go and grab a coffee with them. So it really just comes down to how many clients you have, how much of their time do they need. So it's really just go at your own pace. It's, build your own schedule, really. So.
Thank you. The next question we have is, what skills are of most importance for a consultant?
Skills, huge is communication. That would be the biggest thing. Always be honest with your client. Always, greet them with a smile, be happy, be positive, and just be yourself. When you try to be someone else, it tends to not go the right way, because your client, they're looking for help, and they don't want you to put on a certain act of who you are. And it's just really important that you just relax, take a breath, and really just focus on your communication. Just be yourself, because when you're yourself, you're not going to stutter, you're not going to get nervous. And so that's really important. And another thing, like I mentioned, is just being able to plan things out. Planning is a huge thing in the consulting industry, because, for example, when you're building strategies or you're giving someone advice, you better have something to back it up. So definitely planning and communication.
I really like to emphasize into that, yes. And the next question we have is, how is consulting different from other business fields?
From different business fields, I guess it's more of you using your experience and what you've learned in school, and of course learning through the line of work you're in. So before you get into a consulting, position, it's really important that you go try out different things. Try to get your hands into the actual work of that business. So if you're a marketing consultant, learn how to do marketing. If you're focusing on digital marketing, learn how to use a phone, learn how to put ads on Facebook, on Instagram, learn how to create good content, learn how to copyright. Because once you've learned these skills, you're able to consult your client a lot better, because you've actually had hands-on experience. So that would be probably the biggest thing there.
Thank you. The next question we have is, what was your reason for choosing consulting over other business fields?
Yeah, I think it's just really fun. Being able to, meet new people all the time, and just being able to sit down, have conversations, learn about them, learn about their business, being able to build a long-term relationship. The nice thing about consulting is, you don't just spend 5 or 10 minutes with a person. You spend an hour. You could maybe even spend 8 weeks with a person. We have clients that have stayed with us for 6 months. So the biggest thing is, when you're communicating with someone and you're building, that relationship, it's going to stay a long time, and you're going to grow from that. You're going to gain experience. And it's just a beautiful thing. So the best thing about being a consultant is interacting with new people, learning new perspectives, gaining new experiences, learning new things. So that's the biggest part. It's a beautiful thing to be a part of.
That's amazing. And the next question we have is, how does a day go in terms of work life for a consultant?
Yeah. So like I said, a lot of your work is, kind of booked. So you're not going to have, 15 different people, coming to you every day. You're maybe going to have 3 or 4 consulting appointments. So a lot of your work is kind of going towards other aspects of your business, of your job. So that could, in a digital marketing setting, that might be you creating content, building strategies. But for the most part, it's a mixture of, getting your work done, but also consulting your clients on how everything is really going and how they can approach it. So,
thank you. And I read your blog on insights on leadership and organization, and I thought this really ties in with what you just said right now. So thank you for that.
No, absolutely. And thank you so much for, taking the time to read the blog as well. So that's something I'm trying out. So we'll see.
No problem. So the next question we have is, what do you love about your job, and what do you dislike about it?
I think the one, I've already mentioned it, but the one thing that I absolutely love about my job is being able to interact with people. I'm interacting with you today because of my job, and that's the most beautiful part about it. meeting new people, learning new things about them, learning about your organization and how, you guys are there for the youth. And, being someone who's young, that's something that I absolutely love and I really appreciate. So, the best part about my job is being able to show up every day and get to have conversations with new people, learn new things. If I had to say if I disliked something, honestly, you'd have to get back to me like in a couple of years. Maybe I'll have something then. But right now, I really do love what I'm doing. And I think the biggest thing that I can tell anybody else, whether you're looking for a career in consulting or, whatever aspect or other industries that you're interested in, is whatever you do what you love. Because if you love what you do, you're going to love everything about it as well. The stresses, the good things, the bad things, you're going to enjoy every moment of it because you're going to be learning, you're going to be growing. So it's definitely an amazing experience. And yeah.
I definitely agree with that because a lot of people do say that do what you love, and it kind of feels like it's reiterated too many times, but it is a fact and it definitely applies in your case.
No, absolutely. I think, like you said, it is one of those, that term, doing what you love, is one of those things you hear too often. And you're just like, yeah, whatever. But at the end of the day, when I was, in high school, I wanted to be a doctor, and why did I want to be a doctor? Because I wanted to help people. But I realized that, sciences weren't my biggest strength, but communications and doing digital marketing was a huge thing for me. Business was the side that I was really leaning to in terms of my skills. So I knew that if I'm good at something, I'm going to enjoy that more. And so, I decided, what? There's other aspects to help people. It doesn't always just have to be a doctor or a nurse. You can really go out and find your own industry and help people there. And so, now that I have my own business and I'm doing consulting, I'm able to help people with their businesses, helping their businesses thrive, find new strategies to, bring new innovative ideas. So at the end of the day, when you do something you love, you're not going to dislike it. So, yeah.
That's actually really powerful. Yeah, definitely. And the next question we have is, how should students in high schools model their extracurriculars for this pathway, and how is it different for university?
I think doing extracurricular activities is one of those things that you're always going to have a tough time managing, because one of the toughest things to do any time in your life is managing your time. I know we live in a day and age where Netflix is a huge thing, TikTok is a huge thing, and we can procrastinate at times. I know there's times where I'll pick up my phone and I'll be glued to it for an hours, and I won't even realize. So trust me, it's one of those things you're always going to be challenged. But the best way to do it is kind of putting. I want to. If you're doing two things, let's say you're working and you're studying, do 50-50 or 60-40. 60% at school, 40% at your extracurriculars. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much experience is important, school is also really important. So always prioritize that. And then, maybe it's like you like playing soccer. You want to join a team. Try to join a team. Absolutely. You want to volunteer and get some experience. Do that on the weekends. It's really just about, seeing what's really important to you, how much you can really take on individually. But the way you're going to learn how to manage your time is by actually experimenting, different things. Hey, you know what? Maybe putting too much time into this isn't good for me. I'm going to cut down. So you got to try things out. Everyone has a different schedule than everybody else. And, it's just a matter of finding what's best for you. And it takes some time. I'm still trying to figure it out. So.
That's great. That's great. Yes. And the next question we have is, referring to skills, how might someone who's a good fit for consulting look like in high school or in university?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best candidate for a consulting job is someone who's good at communicating, someone who likes to be, who has a positive attitude, who has a smile always on their face, who loves to talk, but especially loves to listen. Listening is a huge part of the job because, you want to make sure that whatever your client is sharing with you, you're taking it all in. And being able to listen to that, because that's what's going to help you do your job better as well. So we need good listeners. We need a positive attitude, someone who loves to talk, someone who loves to smile. A smile goes a long way in this career. Yeah, those are like the biggest things when it comes to an individual. But of course, getting your experience in the business field and in the industry that you want to be in is a huge asset, because if you have experience, you're able to work better. So
I feel that as well about the listening aspect that you mentioned, that a lot of students in high school at times just focus on communicating their ideas effectively and not
mhm.
listening to the person they're communicating their ideas to.
It's one of those things I've noticed over the last couple of years. People have kind of shifted to a point where people just want to share. People just want to talk. We live in a time where there's so much social media, and you see a lot of people being able to have a voice now, which is great. But because we have Instagram, we have TikTok, and people just want to share, 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 and share. These social media platforms have had an impact on how we are as people. We tend to express more, but we don't tend to listen too much. Our attention spans have dropped significantly, where now you go on TikTok, you watch a 15-second video, and then you've kind of lost your attention. So listening these days is a huge skill, because a lot of people are losing that. People are not that good at listening anymore. So if you can really focus on your listening, so if you're in school right now, it's so important that you listen to your lectures, because you could take that and look at that as a skill, being like, hey, I sat through my hour and 25-minute math class. I listened to the teacher speak, and I remembered what they said. That's a huge asset. And, in school, it could be a motivating factor for you to get good grades. If the better you listen, the better grade you're going to get. The less questions you're going to have to ask your teacher. So if we can focus on listening, that's a huge asset, because, just as much as we like to share, as consultants, our clients are the biggest sharing people. They want to share their business, they want to share their problems, and you're going to give them the solution. And if you want to give them the solution, you got to be a good listener, because you got to listen to what their problem is. So,
Yes, because listening is definitely something that sets individuals apart from other individuals or candidates
absolutely,
or anything for university, jobs in the future.
absolutely.
Yes. And the last question we have is, what are some tips or advice you have for people going into consulting?
Tips and advice, I would really just focus on the few things that I really focused on throughout these questions: is being a good listener, being a good communicator. Those two things will get you really far, whether it's in consulting or any aspect of any industry or any job. Being a good listener is a huge thing. Being a good communicator is an even better thing. So those are the two biggest things that I would say. Go outside. Nowadays social media is so accessible. You can get LinkedIn. I recommend everyone in high school to start using LinkedIn, start making those connections with professionals in the industry that you want to work in. You might be like, hey, I want to work for JP Morgan, and I want to be a consultant there. Then start making connections with people there, some managers, some supervisors, maybe even their CEO. If you can get that far, do it. Start communicating with them. Be like, hey, I'm reaching out because I want to learn more about your business. I want to be in your position down the road, and being able to foreshadow you or get some advice from you is a huge thing that I would really appreciate. So reaching out to people that are in those fields, trying to get volunteering opportunities, some mentorships, to get some tips and advice from them, will take you a long way. I know that when I was in high school, I didn't really think about that till I got into university. So now, I spend so much time on LinkedIn building those connections, because I learned so much from them. So that would be my biggest thing, is getting out there and start communicating, looking into that job industry that you really want to get into, and start making those connections and relationships with people that are already doing what you're doing, or that you want to do, because that's going to help you get further in that career.
I feel like that's very important. And throughout this entire interview, like all your insights were very helpful, even for me as a high school student and for anyone else who will watch this video. So thank you
Mm-hmm.
so much for coming today. And thank you for being a special guest for our first career series. And any final thoughts you would like to share?
Yeah, this is your guys' first series, and it's my first time doing something like this too. So I really hope that you got something beneficial out of this.
Definitely, you
This was my first time doing it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a tiny bit nervous. So, at the end of the day, if you got something good out of it, I'm really happy. And if you didn't, it's I'm sorry from my end. But I really hope you're able to take something good out of this. I really want to see, everyone thrive. It's an amazing thing to see. The youth, you guys are resilient, you guys are strong, and you are more than capable of doing anything that you want to do. And, you know, throughout high school, you sometimes get those doubts that, oh, I don't know if I can do this, or I don't know if I can do that. But if you put your mind to it, if you believe in yourself, you'll get through anything. And I know that's a cliche thing to say. You hear it all the time on Instagram, but trust me, just level down on yourself, focus on yourself, bet on yourself, put all the effort that you can. I know there's rough days that come where you don't really want to do anything except for look on Instagram and TikTok and Netflix. Those days are the most important for you to show up. So, you know, always show up, whether, you know, you're feeling down or you're feeling happy. So that would be my biggest thing is, you know, show up, do what you love, believe in yourself, and you will be more than capable of doing anything that you want to do. So thank you so much for having me. And thank you for taking the time to, you know, sit with me as well. So.
And wow, and just final thoughts for me, like, wow, this was very, like, even like for me, this was very inspirational. And I definitely feel everyone learned a lot from you today. Thank you
I
so
really
much.
hope so. I really hope so. Actually, I want to share one more thing before I do.
Sure.
You know, I'm a young guy just like a lot of you. I'm 20, you know, so I'm not that far off from a lot of you. And so, you know, I see a lot of leaders out there, you know, people that are much in a much bigger position than I am. And, you know, at the time of COVID, at the time of what we're going through at this time in this year, it's been tough. And, you know, a lot of leaders are being strong. I wanted to just level down with you guys and share as much as I could. So I really, really do hope you guys benefited from this. So thank you so much for having me.
We did. No problem. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye.